a brand new live session series by Nia, designed to help you tackle life's challenges with more confidence and calm. My name is Noreen Chaudhary, and I'm a licensed clinical psychologist. We are excited to have you here today. In each session, we'll guide you through exercises rooted in evidence based practices to help you build resilience and maintain mental well being. Whether you're dealing with stress, anxiety, or just looking to enhance your mental strength, these sessions are here to support you. Today, we dive into the world of emotions, especially the one that feels like a firestorm sometimes anger. Whether you struggle with sudden outbursts, silent simmering rage, or just occasional frustration, this episode is for you. We are going to explore anger in a way that's actionable. We'll cover what anger really is, why it's not always bad, the thoughts and beliefs that fuel anger, physical warning signs to watch out for, the difference between healthy and unhealthy anger, and some real strategies you can use to manage it. We'll also walk you through examples so these ideas stick and you can try some reflections and mental exercises along the way. Let's dive in. So, what is anger? Anger is a natural emotional response to situations where we feel hurt, threatened, disrespected, or that something is unfair. It's an emotion that served us well back in the day. Imagine our ancestors encountering danger. That burst of energy gave them the push to either fight or run away. And here's an important truth: anger can sometimes be completely valid. Let's say someone cuts in front of you in a long line, or a teammate at work takes credit for your effort. It makes sense to feel angry because something unjust happened. Think of a moment like this: you're working on a group project, and one person isn't contributing. You've tried talking to them, but they just keep slacking off. Eventually, frustration builds. In that case, your anger is like a signal telling you that isn't fair. Something needs to change. But here's the thing: while the feeling of anger is valid, what you do with it is what really matters. Anger becomes a problem if it leads you to say things like, "You are useless," or "I knew I couldn't count on anyone," instead of setting boundaries calmly. Here's the next thing to understand: anger doesn't usually come out of thin air. Most of the time, it's fueled by the way we interpret events. For example, let's say someone didn't reply to your message. You might think they're ignoring me on purpose. That thought alone can trigger frustration and anger. We often get caught up in mental stories like, "they should respect me. I can't let them treat me like this. This is always happening to me." These thoughts become the lens through which we view the world, leading to more anger. And here's the kicker: sometimes these thoughts aren't even true. Let's imagine your roommate left dirty dishes in the sink again. Your first thought might be, "they don't care about how hard I work to keep this place clean." But what if the reality is they were in a rush because of an emergency? You see how your assumptions can fuel anger. Right now, take a moment and think of a time when you got angry recently. What was the thought behind it? Ask yourself, was it a fact or just a story I told myself? Let's talk about your body. Anger shows up physically before we even realize it mentally. It might feel like your heart is pounding, your chest is tight, your breathing becomes shallow, your hands start shaking. Recognize these early warning signs is crucial because it gives you the chance to hit the pause button before it escalates. Say you're in a traffic jam and someone cuts you off. Before you even have time to think, your heart starts racing, your jaw is tight. If you catch these signs early, you can take action, like taking deep breath before you start yelling or honking. What physical signs do you notice when you start to get angry? Think about it for a moment. Maybe it's headache, clenched fists, or a knot in your stomach. Next time these signs show up, pause and name them like, oh, my shoulders are tensing up. Awareness is the first step to having a better control over your anger. Now, let's explore the difference between healthy and unhealthy anger. Healthy anger helps you solve problems and stand up for yourself without causing harm. Unhealthy anger, on the other hand, leads to aggression, resentment, and passive aggressiveness. Imagine your coworker keeps interrupting you during meetings. Instead of snapping, you take a deep breath and at the right moment you say calmly, hey, I'd appreciate if you could let me finish before jumping in. Now picture a different scenario. You feel ignored in the same situation, but instead of addressing it, you bottle it up. The next day, you slam doors and give your coworker the silent treatment, leaving them confused and hurt. That's unhealthy anger. It doesn't solve the problem and creates more conflict. Think about your go to response when you're angry. Do you express it directly or let it simmer in you or absolutely lash out on the other person? The goal here is to respond, not react. Let's explore how to do that with practical strategies. All right, let's get to the part you've been waiting for: how to manage anger effectively. I'll walk you through three powerful strategies, each with its own easy to remember acronym. Breathe. BRETHE technique. Use this when you feel anger rising fast. B. Breathing deeply. Inhale for 4 seconds, hold, and exhale for 4 seconds. Would you want to give it a try? Breathe in, inhale for 4 seconds, hold, and now exhale for next 6 seconds. Next is R. Recognize the emotion. Are you feeling frustrated, irritated, rage, angry? And then evaluate the situation. Accept the feelings without any judgment. Whatever you are feeling at that moment, understand that that feeling is valid. Think before you respond. Think about whether is it a scenario that you're creating in your mind? Are there any faulty thought patterns? And then respond. Have a plan to respond calmly. Think about the way you want to address that situation. Would you want to tell the person about how you're feeling or what hurt you or what seems to be unfair? And then express yourself thoughtfully. So, the breathe technique stands for breathe deeply, recognize the emotion, Evaluate the situation, accept your feelings without judgment, think before you respond, have a plan to respond calmly, and express yourself thoughtfully. Say you are in a heated argument with a friend. Instead of saying something hurtful, you pause, breathe deeply, say, let's take a moment before we say something we regret. That's using breathe in action. The second technique is palm. It is a grounding technique. PALM. If your anger feels overwhelming, try this quick grounding strategy. Pause and notice your surrounding. Use your senses, specifically your vision, what colors, shapes, anything that you're seeing around you, or anything that you're hearing around you. Acknowledge five things that you see. Listen to the sounds around you and move your body to release tension, whether it could be jumping, walking, or just moving your hands to release the tension. So, PALM stands for pause and notice your surrounding, acknowledge five things that you see, listening to the sounds around you, and move your body to release tension. Let's look at it in action. When you're furious after receiving a bad feedback at work, instead of reacting immediately, pause, notice the objects around you, like your laptop, the desk, a plant, and take a walk around the block. This gives your brain the time to cool down and respond more thoughtfully. The last one is ACT. Now, this is a long term management technique that you need to do on a daily basis to build a better habit in terms of managing your anger effectively. Use ACT to build better habits over time. Now, A stands for awareness, understanding that what situations or triggers or patterns cause this anger, frustration, or irritation within you. C stands for choices. Remember, you always have a choice in how you respond. Understand that would you want to respond mindlessly or mindfully. Time out. T stands for taking time out. Walk if needed and return with a clear mind, taking a pause each time when you feel that you might respond impulsively, which might hurt the other person or makes you feel regretful later. If arguments with a family member often escalate, practice taking time out. Say, I need a moment to think. Let's talk in 10 minutes. You'll be amazed at how the simple action can reduce conflict. So, there you have it. Anger isn't something to fear or suppress. It's an emotion that can be used for good as long as we learn how to respond to it. Pay attention to your thoughts. Understand what critical language are you using for yourself or others or situations around you when you are angry. Is it very extreme? Are these thoughts distorted? Are these thoughts having irrational errors? Listen to your body signals, like your jaw clenching, fists clenching, tightness in your shoulders, tightness in your chest, awkward feeling in your stomach. Pay attention to these thoughts, listen to your body signals, and practice these strategies that we just talked about. Breathe, palm, and act. Before we close, think about this. What's one small thing you'll do differently next time you feel angry? Will you, dre- will you breathe deeply, walk away to take a pause, or choose your words more calmly? Managing anger is not about being perfect. It's about making small, intentional changes every day. And the more you practice, the easier it becomes to respond calmly instead of reacting impulsively. Again, the goal isn't to eliminate anger from your life, but to use it wisely. like a compass guiding you towards solutions, boundaries, and growth. And one final thought: progress isn't always linear. Some days will be better than others, but every time you choose to breathe instead instead of shouting, reflect instead of blaming, or walk away or taking a pause instead of escalating, you are winning a small but important battle each time. Until next time, stay kind to yourself, stay mindful, and stay grounded. I'll see you in the next